This is Forum. I'm John Michaels, Public Affairs Radio Director with Al Green again, and Al Green of Lifelight. Now, we talked, it seems like just yesterday, but it was like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
First of all, you had another Lifelight down in Texas.
We did. I'm glad to be here this morning, John. I got my white chocolate mocha and excited for the day. We did just return from Sherman, Texas, first year launch of Lifelight Texas in Sherman, which is a little ways north of Dallas. Incredible event. About 9,000 people showed up. It was a Lifelight Festival, offered free, and we saw people from all walks of life, kind of across cultures. And some folks asked us, they said, well, was it successful? What does that mean? We're still trying to pay for it. We offer these things free. So a lot of people helped us with it, but it's successful because of the changed lives. And in fact, there was a little video done on a phone of a young man. I mean, it's pretty emotional to even think about, but he said, I came here today. I was going to end my life today. He said, I was planning to end my life, but he said, I listened to that man, and he was talking about one of the musicians, and he said, as God worked in and through him, he said, I have a new life, a new lease on life. This is a man who kind of had said he was a Christian. He was part of the church, but he didn't look like your typical churchgoer. He was a young guy that was pretty much on the edge, but God reached and rescued him through the music and the messages. And so we had an incredible festival, lots of stories, lots of changed lives, and people from the Texas region as well as probably several states around there came.
Is that possibly on YouTube or on your website?
We'll have some things up on that. There are some things on Lifelight Facebook page and lifelight.org recap. So you'll see a lot of those stories, a lot of testimonies.
9,000 people beats the heck out of a bake sale. I mean, that's a lot of people, but it's not the 300,000 people you got coming up here for Labor Day, but it's a beginning.
It's a beginning, and we were invited there, so we were obedient to the call. We have in about 2 to 3 weeks, we have Lifelight Missouri coming up in Bethany, Missouri. Again, people can find out about that on lifelight.org. Sunday morning, I think, when we're talking to folks here, and, Romans 1:16, it says, for I am not ashamed of the gospel. The gospel is good news. It says, for it's the power of salvation unto everyone who believes. So we just stick to that. We stick to the focus of the good news of Christ and sharing what Jesus said in his word in the Bible.
When you were in Texas, that was during the big tornadoes just in Oklahoma, which wasn't too far away.
It was, and our hearts were going out to those in Moore, Oklahoma. In fact, we had a team of about 30 people that went down to Texas, all of our staff, as well as some dedicated volunteers from South Dakota. And they stopped on the way down, parade over that area. Vicki and I drove on the way back in the middle of the night, and you could see, the devastation. But many of those folks are hurting. Many are grieving. And so at the festival, though we were proclaiming the good news, we were celebrating, but our hearts went out and prayers for those in Oklahoma, because in spite of some of the challenges we had at the festival, and maybe we had to delay some things because of rain and rearrange some things, the real problem was put in perspective north of us and down in Texas.
Are you home very much? I know this month in June you're going to be going a few places.
Well, Tomorrow, Josh Brewer, he's my son-in-law, our missions director at Lifelight. We are headed to Ethiopia, and I see that we fly Turkish Airlines into Istanbul and then to Addis in Ethiopia. We're excited about going because this has been a grassroots movement of the churches of Ethiopia, and they really want to see the country of Ethiopia blanketed with the love of Christ and the gospel and the hands and feet of Christ. And so that's what's near to our hearts right now. We're going there really to do a pastors' conference and talk to the pastors, and also to see the festival location. There's 6 cities, John, in Ethiopia: Addis, and then Nazareth, and Awassa. There's 6 different cities, 6 different evangelists. I'm one of those. So our team will go over in November and do a festival. And, when we say a festival, people have different things in mind. We have a crazy BMX guy, a missionary on a bicycle is what those guys are. They do crazy stunts on bicycles and draw people. He's coming to Ethiopia. We have a rap artist that's coming, and then native Ethiopian singers and bands. And then I'll be just preaching the good news for a couple nights there, as well as looking at projects that we can do in that region of Ethiopia. So we're very excited about that.
Hasn't the airline giving you some warnings about Istanbul and Turkey right now?
We just heard that on the news, but it sounds like we are still a go. So it's just a layover stop there. But obviously all around the world, there's turmoil, even here in America, and people are wondering what's next. But we see these festivals as a way really to reach people with hope and to reach them with the only hope. It's found in Christ. So we have a heart for the Ethiopian people because we have a history there. Over the years, through the Lifelight festivals and concerts, many people have sponsored children, AIDS orphans, and many people have adopted from there. So, in fact, I think we have some local folks from here going, an Ethiopian pastor that's going with us. And so we're planning that trip for November. Right now, it's kind of that pre-trip scouting trip, and we'll minister to the Ethiopian pastors while we're there. Asking people if they have a heart for that, reaching outside the walls of the church, taking the church outside the walls, they can help us. Lifelight.org, or you could call Jenny at the Lifelight office right now and say, hey, tell me more about Ethiopia or any of the Lifelight festivals. I want to help.
Ethiopia is a large part of the Old Testament and New Testament. It's you live it there.
It's interesting. We've been to Ethiopia twice, and culturally, they're pretty proud of their heritage. They talk about the Old Testament, New Testament. It's even in some of their, even some of the secular writings that Queen of Sheba and Solomon in Ethiopia, and of course in the New Testament we read about this Ethiopian eunuch is on a chariot, and it says that Philip proclaimed the gospel to him, which is what we're doing there. So there's a biblical history in Ethiopia, but like a lot of countries right now, we look at North Africa, we look around the world. Ethiopia, Sudan borders one side, Kenya on the south, and Somalia. There's people that are wanting to take over countries for their own agenda. And as Christians and as a ministry, we don't have an agenda other than to proclaim the good news of Christ and watch that news, watch that relationship with God transform people.
Promoting Christianity in some of those countries can get you arrested, can it?
Not in Ethiopia, but it can in certain areas because there is persecution. It's amazing to me. We've been to Pakistan, Haiti, Guatemala, Mexico, here in the States, and we do the same thing. It's music, the message, and changed lives. But it's amazing to me to see that in some countries around the world, and even sometimes here, people get hung up on religion and the rules of religion. There's been, and people would say, skeptics would say, boy, there's been a lot of bad things that have happened in the name of religion. But we're not promoting religion. We're promoting a relationship with God through His Son, Jesus Christ. And when people get that, when they have an encounter, or when they have an experience with God, and they understand that it's through His Son that, we're measuring the calendar today off of the life and death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. When they understand that, they experience that, we see transformation, and it can transform not only people, but it can transform whole communities and maybe nations.
The Bible itself, Christians were persecuted in the Roman days, but something about Christianity that thrives in persecution.
It does. We don't like to hear that, but it does. In some of those countries where there are kind of the most persecution is where the church rises up, and you find out they really believe. They believe with all their heart, and they're passionate about what it says in the Bible.
When are you coming back then?
We are going to be gone about 10, 12 days. Actually, we'll come back into Kansas City, and then we will head right into the Lifelight Missouri Festival, which is June 21st, 22nd. Very excited about the volunteers we have in Missouri and the invitation that we have there.
Well, I can imagine a lot of people are saying, well, gee, Missouri's not that far away. They may want to go down to that from Sioux Falls.
They could. It's a great vacation spot. Camping is really nice in Missouri. You can still register, lifelight.org, click Missouri. It's a kind of a church camp setting. There actually is a swimming pool and a water slide at this one, and I think you can do all sorts of other games they have on the grounds on the campus there at Bethany, Missouri. But bands going to be Newsboys in Missouri, just like all three Lifelight U.S. festivals this year. I think the Afters are in Missouri, Plum. So a lot of great bands, a lot of styles of music, and then two guys, my son-in-law Josh, and then Tom Henderson will be presenting the good news of Christ and speaking. And so I would want to invite everyone that can attend. It'd be a great weekend. You
have to talk a little bit slower in Missouri, I think, but it's a little more laid back. A little
more laid back. I did learn how to say, "Y'all come," and y'all come to the festival in Texas. So Missouri's kind of in between. It's been the show me state, but this is our 4th year there, and it's a great place for a festival.
Well, Lifelight Sioux Falls, it started in your backyard, and it's, 15 years now?
This will be the 16th festival, coming up Labor Day weekend. So we are, June, July, August, we're about 3 months away, August 30th, 31st, and September 1st, Labor Day weekend. It's become the tradition. It's become a tradition for a lot of families. And we've done some campus expansion out there, just 12 miles south of Sioux Falls. So very excited about this year in Lifelight, South Dakota.
Well, tell us, that's going to be Labor Day weekend, which right now people are probably making plans, for the summer, and that's going to be kind of the end of the summer. But, what's new at your facilities? You've been working on that all year.
Well, we made great improvements last year. They'll see, kind of the pond and the garden, roof on the sold-out stage. This year, I think it'll look, again, more like it transforms itself, and we kind of build a city out there. So, you go out there now, it just looks like farm ground with some buildings, but the things that we put up and some of the new things we've acquired, I think people will be very pleased with what they see out there this year. We'll be also adding some things this year on the south side, kind of the youth campus area, the BMX or sports complex area, and all of the stages. We'll have all 6 or 7 stages running again, children's stage, and also I think, there is something new this year, kind of the cowboy stage we're looking at. For some people, that's not their genre, but for a lot of folks, it's like, hey, a little country and cowboy church going on out there. And then main stage, again, big bands this year. Audio Adrenaline is a favorite around here that, that band was done, and then they have restarted and are doing quite well. So Audio Adrenaline, Newsboys, Plum, Rhett Walker. Rhett Walker is kind of a country rock band. And then in addition, again, all the other things going on in addition to music.
Well, the main thing is it's a 3-day event, but people come out there on Thursday even and stay all the way through Sunday. Are there any campsites left?
Yes, I would encourage people to camp. There is a charge for camping, but it's well worth it because you don't fight the traffic. Mm-hmm. You really get a festival experience. Some folks have said, I'm going to camp even if I live in Sioux Falls or live nearby in the region. I can go home if I want to, but at least I've got my place, I've got my food. Don't have to fight any of that. I'm here, for the weekend. So you can register to camp, still get electrical spots, and then just park in a field after that and maybe develop a relationship or a friendship through that.
They bring their family, they bring their friends, which is the main thing. What's one thing I haven't asked you yet, Al, that I guess is the main concern on your mind right now for this summer?
Well, again, I'd like to ask people to join with us since I'm leaving tomorrow. I'd like to ask people to join and pray for the people of Ethiopia. I mean, it's American citizens, and especially the church, have always been conscious of, as we say in Lifelight, taking the church outside the walls. That's about a $70,000 event, as opposed to here it might be, like $1 million event to do a festival. But we're looking for help for that. We're looking for people that would say, boy, I am for global missions and global evangelism. In fact, for any of Lifelight's stuff right now, if people want to contact us, they can contact me at allang@lifelight.org, or they can call 605-338-2847, ask for Jenny, and say, hey, tell me more. I'd like to help. We'll give you a free DVD of the ministry and maybe the last messages that we preached in Texas, as well as maybe a Lifelight Impact, T-shirt if you help us out financially. Here's what I'd like to say to people. A lot of people may be listening and they're thinking, okay, I've heard about this. I heard about Lifelight. I know they do big gatherings, big mass events, but what's really the purpose in all of this? I know the church comes together. It's a great big church thing, but what really is the impact? John, last year, this was at the Missouri Festival. I never can get this out of my mind. A lady walked up to me after I walked down off the stage. I just finished speaking, and she came up and she just kept saying, thank you, thank you. And she said, you see, and she pointed to her son. She said, there goes my 17-year-old son. He's not doing too well. You see, his dad, my husband, committed suicide last year. I mean, that was heavy. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to pray for this lady, but what can I offer her? What kind of hope can I offer? And then she goes, and I have cancer. And next to her was her young daughter. She said, we came here looking for hope, and we found it. And you see, that lady her family never would have bought tickets to attend a big concert. But they heard about it, they came, and God met them there. He's the only one that can provide hope. And it was through an encounter with Christ and the hope and love that only He can provide through His Spirit that could heal her.
Hope can only be defined when everything seems hopeless. Well, Al Green, Lifelight is all one word, right?
Right. Lifelight, one word, L-I-G-H-T. L-I-F-E-L-I-G-H-T, lifelight.org. Then go to Lifelight Facebook page, or you can look me up and make a comment, just Alan Green Lifelight on Facebook.
Are you going to Twitter from Ethiopia?
I think we will. I think with smartphones we'll be able to get service, so we'll try to keep people updated.
All right. Well, hope to hear from you when you get back. Al Green, Lifelight, want to thank you.